Breakfast on the beach. That's what Jesus and his disciples would have been enjoying following the large catch of fish, 153 of them that they had caught. They would have been enjoying their fish butties, and they would have been having an engaging conversation around their breakfast on the beach. And just as Peter is finishing his breakfast, his fish butty, Jesus asks him a most poignant question and invokes Peter's original name, Simon, which hints, interestingly, at Peter's spiritual life before Christ. But as he does, he asks him, that is Jesus, "Do you love me more than these? Do you love me more than these?" Well, what or who are these? Is he talking about fishing? Is he comparing himself to the other disciples? What is Jesus referring to? Well, I believe he's saying, do you love me more than these other disciples? Do you love me, Peter? I mean, really love me more than the other disciples? And bear in mind, this is the same Peter who only a week or so previously had denied even knowing Jesus. And now Jesus is asking this very same person, Peter, do you really love me? It's interesting when you get beneath the skin of the word love, because in the Greek, Jesus uses the word agape, while Peter uses the word phileo. And while phileo is used to describe a brotherly love, Jesus says, do you agape me? While Peter says, I phileo you. Jesus is saying, do you really, truly, deeply, sacrificially love me, Peter? You see, what Jesus is drilling down to ask is essentially this: are you 100% loyal to me, Peter? Are you all in? Have you, like me, often wondered why Jesus would ask Peter such a pointed, such a strange question like that, perhaps? I mean, did he really expect Peter to say, yes, Lord, I'm more devoted to you than all the other disciples? Because had Peter said that, it would sound, wouldn't it, incredibly arrogant. Well, here's the paradox. Peter had done just that a week or so previously when he said, if they all fall away, Jesus, I'll not fall away. I'll not deny you. Certainly not me. Peter essentially then was saying that he was the most loyal, he was the most devoted, he was the most committed of all the bunch. And yet he was the very one whom we thought about in our reflections last week, who publicly denied Jesus 3 times, who publicly denied even knowing the man. So in the light of that, against that backdrop, Jesus asks Peter in front of the other disciples, following their breakfast on the beach, do you love me more than these? And speaking for himself, Peter simply says, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. I believe Peter was responding in all sincerity, and Jesus is restoring Peter, restoring this disciple who had denied Jesus. Jesus is restoring Peter by giving him the opportunity to publicly confess his love, his affection, and his faith in him. You see, just as Peter had publicly denied Jesus 3 times, Jesus now gives Peter 3 opportunities to publicly profess his love for him. And notice, if you're observant, Notice that both times were in front of a fire. You know, it's not the people who have it all together and have never made a mistake that God uses. It's quite the opposite. As we thought about last week, failure with God, with Jesus, is never final. God works in and through broken sinners. God works in and through people like Peter, people like you and me. And that's exactly what happened to Peter following his breakfast on the beach. Peter's experience on the beach that morning reminds us that in order for God to use us, he first of all has to break us. Peter's confession, Lord, you know that I love you. You know that I love you. It was a sincere confession. And Peter's experience reminds us that whilst our confession may well be sincere, sometimes Jesus has to mold us and to break us before we can be used by him. Peter's sin, Peter's denying of Jesus, Peter's remembrance of what he had said, I'll never deny you, Jesus. Peter's remembering of that cockerel crowing is ever before him. It's in his mind. But guess what? That puts him, as he's on the beach, in a perfect position to be commissioned by Jesus.